Hello everyone, welcome to another video from Whatever Networks. My name is Nikki and I'm going to show you today about Citrix ADM and the automatic setting up of a HA pair of ADCs, also known as Netscalers. So let's just jump straight into the demo. I'm going to show you my Citrix ADCs and my NMAS or ADM, Application Delivery Manager as it's now known. So first of all, I've got my primary one here, which is the 192.168.0.95. That's my primary ADC. In there, I can see as primary because in here I've got some load balancing virtual servers, and I've also got a group, so that's there, and there's a Citrix gateway as well. So we've got some configuration there at the moment. So what I want to do is bring the secondary node into this cluster so that we would have a HA pair, and if this Netscaler ADC fails over for some reason, then the other ADC Netscaler can pick up the configuration and hopefully no loss of service. The secondary one is here, and as you can see, it's not really configured at all. It's just got the basic settings, and the basic settings really are down to sort of licensing, IP address, and the host name. Other than that, the subnet IP address, any other configuration is not required. We can just configure that when we replicate our changes. And because the VIPs and the SNPs, they will follow whichever is a production node. First, let's look how we would do this traditionally. So if I click onto the ADC here, I would normally go to System, High Availability, Nodes, and then I've got my single node here. Now, one thing you have to be sure of is that you're not going to synchronize your blank ADC with your production ADC. So what we would usually do is go into here and then put that into. That way, when you try to set this up manually, this one will always be the primary and the secondary will then be synced. But we're not going to do that today. We're going to let NMAS or ADM do all the work for us. Close this down and let's jump into ADM. So I'm in my ADM at the moment. What we want to do is have a look first of all to see if our new Netscaler is in here. If it's not, we'll probably need to add it in. So you go to Instances and we go to Citrix ADC. As you can see, we've got one in there which is our production ADC, right? So the secondary is not in there, so let's just add that in quickly. So I'm going to click on Add here. I'm going to put an IP address which is 192.168.0.96. Now I've got a profile for this already, and the profile is basically username, ports, etc., community if you have one specified, for SNMP, and also you can specify a site. In this case, I've got a site here, but you can specify the longitude of a data center or a location where your ADCs are located. So if they're in the UK or US or Asia, you can put all that information. It appears up in your dashboard. So and the other thing you should note is if you do set up a configuration site, you can also put in Azure or AWS or Google Cloud, VMware, etc. I'm just going to put this private one in here. In fact, it's already set up, so I'm just going to click Close. Right, and then I don't need an agent, and I don't really want to put a tag on there, so I'm just going to click OK, and hopefully, if that's all correct and using the same password as the first one, then it will complete, and there we go. Right, so now the operation's completed. We can now see that there's two ADCs in our instances of the Citrix ADM. That's all very good. The other thing to note is that you really need to look at your version. They need to be identical if you're going to be adding them into a HA pair. You can't have different license versions, or you can't have different build versions. So you need to ensure that your licenses are exactly the same and that your build version is exactly the same if you want to add them to a HA pair. I've already checked and I know that both of my licenses are 50 platinum, and if I go to that one, it's also a 50 platinum. And we can see in ADM that they're both the same version and build. So that's fantastic. So let's go through and add the job. The next thing we need to do is we come out of networks and we go to configuration jobs. And if you look at configuration jobs, you've got maintenance jobs and configuration templates. Now I'm going to show you more about configuration templates on another video and how awesome it is to be able to push config to lots of Netscalers or ADCs in one push. And you can even fully configure a ADC by using configuration templates. But we'll come back to that later. I'm going to click on maintenance jobs here. And what I want to do is join a HA pair. So I'm going to create a new job. The new job gives you a few options. You can upgrade an ADC to a new firmware version, SD-WAN, or an STX as well. But we're going to use this option here, configure a HA pair into a pair of Citrix ADC instances. So I'm going to click on proceed there. I'm going to just give it called join HA pair BH for this location. I'm going to need to select the primary, and it's very important you get this one right because otherwise you'll be syncing the wrong way. So I select my primary there, and then I need to just select my secondary, which is this one, and click OK. I'm not going to worry about turning on independent NIC node because we don't need to do that in this environment, and we're going to click next. Now you can, after you've done that, you either get an execution, which means you can do it now, or you can specify a time you actually want this to happen. So if you want to schedule this out of hours, then you could do so. I'm just going to put that to now, and then also if you have it configured on your ADM, you can receive an execution report through email or through Slack. I don't have this configured yet, but in another video we'll show you how to configure email and Slack so that you can receive notifications of jobs and any other alerts coming from your ADM. But I'm going to click on finish, and that job is now going to kick off, and hopefully in a few moments we will see that the two ADCs are now a pair. Now I don't think it will take that long, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sort by scheduled time, and we can see this is the job, so I'm going to click on that and then go execution rule summary. Now I can see it's already complete, which is fantastic, and if I click on again and go to details, we can see the status there. And if we go a little bit further and click on one of the instances, we can actually see the command log. So you can see here that this was basically adding a HA node, HA pair, and saving the config. If I go to the secondary one, we can see the same config there. So that's basically the commands reduced, and that's how it's added it into a HA pair. So if I click out of this now, and then out of that, we can go back to the instances, and we should see that they're a pair. Instances and our ADCs. And now you can see that they're joined together, which means they're now a pair. Once they're a pair, you can also do things such as force a failover, do a reboot of one, put one to stay secondary, etc, etc. So please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe because I've got loads more videos like this coming up, especially with Citrix ADM and Citrix ADCs. So until next time, thank you very much for watching.